Yeah. Because you went last time too, didn't you?
No, I didn't go last time, but this time for sure.
Yes. I know it's so bad with
Do we go there and the tickets are gonna be there? Or
I
like-
think, I'm not sure. Well, we could ask.
That was loud. That was nice. Please wake us up.
This is alarm.
You pay for lunch, you know that, right? When your phone rings in the meetings. Remember they used to have that.
Get you gone.
They would charge us $5 every time someone's phone rings. Oh, okay.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is April. How did the first quarter treat you?
Challenges, but things look
Challenges?
promising.
They're moving, it's
What,
moving
does
forward.
everybody are hitting their goals?
Yeah.
Does everybody have goals?
My fly by the seat of your pants goals.
Not
I
everybody.
know he doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
On to the office.
Oh, you don't want to hear it.
Meaning you're not hitting your goals?
No, my fly by the seat of my pants goals.
I hit my health goal.
You hit her health goal. That's good. Remember when we were doing goals? You were 37.
Called it.
Cindy lost 37 pounds.
Wow, you look amazing.
You're looking good, girl.
Wow.
Remember when we were talking about business planning and goal setting last year? What one of my goals was?
Golf more.
Run a half marathon. Guess what I did on Saturday?
You did.
Did you do it in the mountains?
Is it Rebel or?
Yeah, Rebel Mount Charleston.
Oh, my wow.
And what's that?
How'd you do that?
Oh yeah, it was so cool. All right, on time drawing. How many we have? 12. Number.
7.
You know, I was thinking this morning. No, I have not hit number 1 ever.
That's me, number one.
Yes.
Who was that?
And she, Tandy.
Oh, I got it.
Some folders, an epic cup,
Yay.
some notepads,
Yeah, that's a good goodie bag.
finger spinner,
Wow.
and other stuff, other important stuff in here. There you go. Congratulations.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
All right, where's my clicker?
You don't have it.
Okay.
You don't have it.
I love free stuff.
Will this mute her?
No. It says the volume.
I still haven't figured out how to mute that one. All right, everybody. Take pictures throughout the hour, and you don't have your phone. Well, how are you going to take pictures of me?
I have so many. I can want to see it.
And then check in on Facebook.
Linda.
All right. My new expiration date on my license, since I did renew it, is 4/30/25. If you need it. Or rev up. So tomorrow, what's today? Today's Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday. Is your database, is your business, and creating your online presence. And I will be teaching that tomorrow. You know, our training is meant for new agents, but experienced agents can come all the time. You went last time, right?
Yes, it was good.
So how long have you been in business?
13 years.
13 years. See, you are old.
Younger than you though.
Yeah. And you went to this class
Yes.
last time. Did you learn anything?
Yes.
Here's the important thing. Are you applying what
I
you learned?
am almost done with my CRM.
All right, good. So even experienced agents can come to our Rev Up. Module 3 is next Wednesday, the sales cycle and effective client communication. And then the following Friday is the residential purchase agreement. So those are all live at our Summerlin office and via Zoom.
Oh
No,
no.
oh no.
what it says.
No sales meeting next Thursday. I'll be teaching post-licensing, so I can't be in two places at one time. So, no sales meeting.
Okay.
So, who waited till the last minute to pay their dues? Did you have a hard time getting in?
No.
I got so many calls from agents that were having a hard time getting into to pay their dues yesterday, and then they had to call, and so if you didn't pay it yesterday, then you have an extra $50 to pay.
I had it last night around 7.
Mark,
You did it last night around
does
7? Really? No problem. Yeah.
Does everybody know that you can sign up for that monthly payment for
Yeah.
the dues and you never forget and you're never late?
Yeah, so they have, great point, Martha, thank you, is they have what they call a layaway program, where you pay every month, and it's like 117?
Either 117 or 122, something like that.
Yeah, and just every month you pay it, so
And
you
it
don't
goes
have
to
to.
all, everything, or is just a specific?
All of
all
your
of it.
MLS
Yes.
and your association dues, so
Yes.
it covers all
So
of
they
it.
Yeah, I
have
just
you have
pay
to
it.
fill out
Yeah.
the form and you put a credit card.
But anyway, so if you haven't paid it, you owe $50 extra, and I think you have like another 2 weeks, and if you don't pay it, then I have to send your license back.
Ooh, that's.
Yeah, and you're locked out of the MLS. I think even if you haven't paid it, I think you're already locked out of the MLS.
Wow.
Bless you.
All right, baseball.
Yay!
We're talking just a couple of weeks away. On April 14th is baseball, Aviators. They gave us a few extra days to pay. So if you're interested, give us the money. Show me the money. It's $48. It includes baseball. We have a separate area out there, and it includes a buffet dinner, barbecue. We opted for a little high. I think it was $45 last time, and just a little more and a better, hopefully a better meal.
Yeah.
So it's $48. Bring cash, bring check payable to Las Vegas Aviators, or you can Zelle me the money, whatever. So who's already signed up?
Ricky, are you going?
I'm not. I'm gonna be running a 5K on that Saturday.
Woo!
If I don't show up, y'all know I died.
You'll do 5.
Charity, are you going?
I think so, yeah.
Good.
Okay, maybe I'll
April
go.
14th.
It's
What day-
so much
Friday?
fun.
I did it last year.
It'll be fun.
It'll be better. I think it'll be better because
does
we're
not
gonna have a
include beer.
it was
No beer is
windy, I
available.
know.
Oh, okay.
You were there last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so was I.
Where do we meet that? Is there like a location, or what are we doing?
Well, you're gonna have to come here to get your tickets.
Okay.
But we should be picking up our tickets early next week.
Perfect.
Okay.
And so come in anytime next week to pick up the tickets. And then we have a reserved area out
Okay.
there. So the tickets are good for that
Perfect.
particular area.
So we get
Did
there.
you go last? Did you go last year?
I did.
I think I was out of town, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought tickets, but I had to give them to a client. I was out of town.
Oh, is that right? All
Oh,
right.
you can buy it again.
You're gonna go this year?
Got a concert on it. Such a night.
Priorities.
So funny.
A client's concert.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
All right, so baseball, a lot of fun.
Lot of fun.
So we did a blood drive on Monday right here, and the Red Cross reached out. Paul Gladowski is the one that organizes it every year, or actually once a quarter now. And they reached out to us and said it was their best one here so far. So any of you that did give blood, I did. Thank you and good job.
When is the next one?
3 months.
July-ish, June, July, something like that. Food truck is out that way. Every Thursday they have a food truck. The center brings in a food truck. Today it is Tiki's Hawaiian Gourmet Hot
I've
Dogs.
never heard of
What the
that.
hell is a Hawaii? Hey, You just missed it. We just talked about the blood drive.
Thank you, everyone who donated. We had our best drive ever.
That's what I said.
Last time I donated, I fainted, so I quit doing it, yeah.
So, all right, so what the hell is did I say that? What is a Hawaiian gourmet hot dog? Is that
I don't know.
a
Let's-
spam dog? Or does it have pineapple? I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it.
They're out there from 11 to 1:30 today. What's that?
Why is that a spam?
Hawaiian hot dog.
Tomorrow, the Trozian team is sponsoring a ski and ride out at Mount Charleston Lee Canyon Ski Resort. There's some charity involved in this. Do you have any idea what the charity is on this?
Yeah, it's mine.
Everything goes into Justin's pocket, so, it's $25 for the lift
I think it's
tickets.
a homeless or kids charity. I don't know.
Homeless, so it is for you.
My homeless kid. My homeless kid.
So that is tomorrow. Reach out to Nathan, there's his phone number right there, if you're interested in going. It's tomorrow from 12 to 4.
And we're trying to set up a carpool from here.
Okay.
So people don't want to drive.
Mhm.
Some sort of carpool setup.
Are you going?
No. Somebody's got to work.
You know, if you were on skis, I would love to see that.
That would be another $25.
All right, pet of the week. If you have a pet and you want it as the pet of the week, submit it to Stephanie, stephanie.wood@realty1group.com. We have a lot of great pets. I forget whose pet this is, but this is Mickey.
Oh, how sweet.
Look how cute Mickey is. So, I have no idea who that is. But it's a dog. And it's the pet of the week. All right, what title? You have anything? Well, you're here.
Hi guys, real quick, there is not going to be a Rock University class today, but we will be back next Thursday doing a training class with Debbie DeGrow, okay? Just so you guys don't sign up for Rock University today. And I do have Laura here, she's an escort officer out of our Southwest office. She's going to be hanging out with us today, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to go visit me and Laura at the office back there, okay?
Was this the breakthrough broker class that was supposed, is there one today?
No, there is the Breakthrough Broker class that Felicia's hosting
I
today.
think she said that's next
Oh, it's
week.
next
Oh,
week.
is it next
Oh,
week?
it's
Okay,
next
good. I have it on this week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she said it's next week.
Next week? Okay, I thought it was today too.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be.
Okay.
Next week on the 13th is
Oh, the
interfere for prospecting Debbie.
Oh, but next week is-
Breakthrough Broker is moving to, Breakthrough Broker workshop moving to next week,
Oh, okay.
immediately following the sales meeting.
There is no sales meeting next week. Right.
All right? There is no sales meeting. Thank you.
But there's still gonna be that class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Stats by Emily.
Where's Emily?
You know what? We need to get her in here to present the stats.
Yeah,
I
I don't want
figured.
to see that if she's not here. You tell her that. She's so.
I'll tell her. You tell her that. All right.
Not for real.
So here's the stats.
In my eye.
Active listings 5548, down from 5712 last week. Single family active listings 4259, down from 4408 last week. Price decreases, solds 2,588. Down a little bit from the previous week, and the month's inventory is holding steady at 2.1.
Wow.
I saw a headline just this morning about I think it was RJ, and it was quoting somebody from the LBR stating that we're in a more stable market, because it was the same from last month to this month, or to the previous 2 months. So there's still a lot of business to be had out there, guys. So let's just get our little fair share.
I saw that.
Who saw that? What?
I
No.
did. No.
All right. we're starting a new segment. So normally I do my book of the month, right? And so this is my recommended book for this month. So I saw this book online, and as many of you know, I listen to my books by Audible. And I saw this book, it's called Exactly What to Say. I don't know who recommended it, I don't know if it just popped up and I saw it. What?
That's a good title.
Exactly What to Say. And as I was listening to it, I thought, how do I adapt this for real estate? And then within a month later, Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my idea. It really was. No, it wasn't.
Your phone heard you and then it was spread out in the universe.
The universe picked up. So what we're going to do, this new segment, and this may be our book for the year, we're going to listen to a chapter. Every meeting, we're going to listen to a chapter. But the chapter's only like 3 to 5 minutes. So this magic words that we're going to listen, it's called I'm Not Sure It's For You, but, so let me connect. Samsung TV, as many of you know, I'm a bit technologically challenged sometimes. Can you hear?
No.
Ah.
It's a really good book.
What's that?
It's a really good book, I found it.
You have it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bought it for my entire team too.
it's awesome.
A property or their service to others is the fact that they are fearful of rejection.
Let's start all over.
It was for this.
A little bit
One.
higher on volume.
I'm not sure if it's for you, but one of the most common reasons I hear from people as to why they fail to introduce themselves, a property or their service to others, is the fact that they are fearful of rejection. It was for this reason that I figured the best place to start is with a set of magic words you can use to introduce just about anything to just about anybody, at just about any point in time, that is completely rejection-free. The words in question are, I'm not sure if it's for you, but. It fascinates me that we face rejection in dozens of other areas in our lives, yet in our business, we can be so afraid that they may say no that we fail to even ask. This could be the very reason that your friend or neighbor lists with a stranger. Your work colleague secures a new qualified buyer, or a family member refinances their home without even speaking with you about who your trusted local lender is. If you do not ask, then you do not get. Let's take a moment to understand how this simple structure works. Opening a statement with the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, causes the listener's subconscious brain to hear there's no pressure here. By suggesting that they may not be interested, you naturally increase their intrigue. Their curiosity is spiked as they wonder what it is. And this spike in curiosity makes them want to learn more. Additionally, it fires an internal driver that tells them a decision needs to be made. And this softer approach ensures this decision doesn't feel pressured and is theirs to make. When you say to somebody, I'm not sure if it's for you, but, the little voice inside your listener's head hears, you might want to look at this. The real magic, though, is delivered through the final 3-letter words of this sequence. A word that typically should be avoided in all conversations, the word but. Imagine receiving a comment from a past employer that started with the words, you know that you're a really valuable member of the team. We love everything that you do here, but some things need to change. What is the only part you would remember? I'm guessing the part that you would focus on most is everything that follows but. The word but negates everything that was said prior. So when you say to somebody, I'm not sure if it's for you, but, what the little voice inside your listener's head hears is you might want to look at this. Here are a few examples to help you in your daily routine. I'm not sure if it's for you, but when the time is right, I'd be delighted to help you get the best price for your home. I'm not sure if it's for you, but there is an open house on Saturday, and you're welcome to join us. I'm not sure if it's for you, but there is a new listing coming up next week that could be a good fit. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I have a great relationship with the local building managers and can help you secure a great deal. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I have a great resource who you should speak with if you're thinking of refinancing. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I checked out the Zestimate on your home and found a few errors. This rejection-free approach creates a simple outcome. One of two things happens. Your listener leans in and asks for more information because they are personally interested, or in the very, very worst case scenario, they say they will give it some thought, whilst memory pegging the conversation to recall at a later date.
I'm not sure it's for you, but, so every week we're gonna go over new magic words to help you in your business. So again, I listen to my books, I do Audible, and every once in a while when I come across a great book, I'll go ahead and buy them. So I actually bought both of them. If any of you want to check this out for me, I could check it out to you as long as you return it. I lose so many books.
Did you get it online or did you go to a bookstore?
Amazon like $15 or something like that. So yeah, it's really, and I've listened to and read a lot of books on real estate and everything. Probably the best book I've read on to help with the real estate career. So yeah, great words. And a buddy of mine, so the guy, what is his name, Jones, something Jones, he did a training in like Dallas or something. So he spoke at a couple of Tom Ferry events. And my buddy's a coach for Tom Ferry. And so he offered to the coaches to do a more private training group. And my friend paid $3,000 to go to this training. Actually, I guess it was in California, and he said it was well worth it. So, but the book is absolutely amazing. Any questions? All right. Well, with that being said, welcome Charity Bond, and let's talk mortgages. So, this is a interactive where you guys ask. She's got a lot of information for us. But she's also here to answer questions, right?
Yeah, mainly actually I want to answer your questions. I mean, I can come up here and talk about things all day long, but if it doesn't apply to your situation, then it's not really helping you, so it's not something in your toolbox. So I know Linda had one question. I do want to start out, because I don't say this very often, but in 1 month, our average rate is down to 6.16. So 1 month ago, we were at 7.08. So we are down in the last 30 days, almost a full point. So, and we had on Monday, if anybody isn't on my list, on Mondays I do market updates that you guys should get. And on one of those articles, they're starting to predict that rebound, that we're starting to rebound. So the market is picking up with rates going down lower, even though sales prices haven't come down. So that's some good news in the market. Linda had asked a question online, so I'm going to answer her question first. So we do now have an I-10 product. It is not very pretty, but we do have it.
Okay.
So we have essentially two options. First option is all of our products, well, on this first option, they have to be either on W-2 for 2 years, or they have to have 2 years tax returns for self-employed. So it is a full documentation loan, and there's no exception.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does ITN mean?
It's a individual tax ID number. So essentially, when someone is, not technically a citizen, they can still, our wonderful government will still collect taxes from you. We're really nice like that. And so we will give someone an individual tax ID number so that they can file taxes under their own name and have all of those, benefits of that. So, and so this is just for someone who maybe is starting the process, because it's a very lengthy process. It takes a long time for them to convert to being an actual naturalized citizen. So, So the first option is 2 years taxes or W-2s. And, okay, this is where it's not pretty. They have to come up with a minimum of 15% down, and the interest rate is 10% with 2 discount points, like it's non-negotiable, it's that.
What does it say, that, the last part?
The interest rate will be 10%, and they have to pay 2 discount points. Yeah. So,
But that's just you guys' criteria, right?
yeah, this is our I-10 product. This is something I generally refer out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just because I know there's some better products out there, but, you know, I mean, you know, we do offer it, so if someone has that kind of situation.
So let's say there's 2 buyers, and one of them is social security numbered and the other one is ITN. What criteria falls under, I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
Social
it's,
security number?
This is why I printed stuff out, so I could read it, so I wouldn't be like, I think I just read something there that it says that if they have to. I would assume it would default to the last.
To the
To the worst case scenario, to the I-10. I don't think that we would put them on an FHA loan because they wouldn't have a social security number.
But let's
They
say,
can do FHA, I think can do FHA.
But I mean, can they do it with an I-10? So I don't know about that, yeah.
I think it's a.
At least
like
with
I said,
CMG, so this is the thing, this is just CMG/Epic.
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, this isn't our product. Like I said, normally when people call me, I tell them we don't offer it. I've gotten called out by management. They're like, oh, we offer it now. And I'm like, it's not, I'm not gonna tell someone 15% down and 10% interest rate. I mean,
Right.
I just don't feel that that is a beneficial loan. Like, I know that there are lenders that do it out here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
So,
yeah, I just was wondering, because of, you know, certain circumstance, but I didn't know if there's 2 people and one has a social and one has an ITN, does the social security number person take precedent on the file, or?
with our product, I'm gonna say no, but I think like she's saying, maybe if a lender has gone through the FHA approval process to do that type of loan, then maybe, I mean, it's really weird because technically you don't have to have a FICO score to do an FHA loan. That's the other thing, this actually requires FICO scores.
No.
Like, we require, minimum that they have a 700 or a 720
On the ITN?
on the ITN, yeah. And they have to put 35% down if they want to go, if they have a 620 plus, so,
Yeah, and it all depends on each lender.
yeah,
They all have different criteria.
yeah, so,
So that's not a really desirable product with you guys.
our medical product, I mean, you know, and I mean, honestly, I've been doing this 29 years, so people can come in here and be like, oh my gosh, and that's just bull crap. Like, you just know that your strengths and weaknesses are, and CMG is a cash-based company. They have been around for 30 years, but they just don't, this is just not their forte.
Okay.
And it's fine, right? I
That's
mean, we
fair
have
enough.
people that only do luxury real estate and people that do first-time home buyers, and that's fine. So we offer it, but yeah, it's just not, I don't feel that it's a beneficial.
Okay.
If you choose to do self-employed, like a stated income, where you just wanna do like a written BOE or get a CPA letter, they have to come in with 25% down, and then their interest rate is 9.875. So yeah, we offer it. I don't think it's a competitive. Personally, I don't believe it's a
Okay,
competitive.
well, that's
product.
good to know then.
Yeah. So I will still Google, Facebook, or not Google, but I will post a thing who offers I-10s and then just refer them over, because there are a couple lenders that are very good
Yeah,
at it.
I have a listing and the buyer is an ITN, and she told me the rate and the down payment, and I said, that's amazing, could social security people get that? And she goes, yeah. The rate was like 5%, only
Yeah.
5,000 down.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well,
How
you
much
need
now?
to get the name of that.
Yeah.
And I do tell you guys, like,
But I don't know
whenever
what their closing costs, I don't know what the lender's fees are.
any rate at 5% though is a good rate. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still maxed. By law, we can only charge up to like 3%. Like, that's the whole thing, is you can't buy down, like, I'll have people say that, well, I want to buy my interest rate down to 4 when rates were really high. We cannot do that. Like, it doesn't matter how much you want a rate. If you're willing to pay 10 points to get it, we by law cannot charge it. There's no mortgage lender that can, because the one thing that happened after 2008 was that they did that, so, yeah. Any other questions? That started off bad, huh?
No, that's good.
Go ahead, sorry,
Okay.
it's gonna be 1, 2,
Oh,
and
no
then
problem.
3, sorry, go ahead.
What about the bridge to homeownership? Cause I, on one of my listings, the buyer got approved for this program at 4.75 rate.
A bridge, I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a new program.
So sometimes you have to check into those because, some products are specific to a particular lender. Like, I would have heard of that if that was like a statewide product. So I'm wondering if that's like specific to Nevada State Bank or Bank of
No, it's
America.
East West Bank.
Okay, yeah, so that's a specific product to them. So I would definitely, double check on that because I've never,
Yeah, it's a low rate.
yeah,
I mean, we're almost closed, so.
yeah. So,
It's the same.
yeah, so that's something where they
Yeah,
might
that's the same
have
problem.
like money in or something, and I don't know exactly what their criteria is to meet that product, so, yeah, so that's something specific to them.
Wish program, do you guys offer the Wish program?
No.
No?
I'm not approved with Wish, no. And I don't know if any of us are, so to be honest with you, NACA and Wish, I think Wish still goes through Nevada State Bank, right? So even though I originated, I have to send everything to Nevada State Bank, so we just kind of leave everything over to them. So,
What program is that?
Wish. It's kind of, and I don't know, maybe you've had luck with it in recent years, I used to be approved to do it, and unfortunately, the reason that I stopped doing that product was because, you know, we would go through the process, I would get, and I'm a processor underwriter, so I know how to process a file from start to finish, and I would get the file ready, I had to send it over to Nevada State Bank, they would go ahead and underwrite it, and then they would condition me for crap I already had in the file, and so we'd go back and forth, and then every single loan, I think I had like 7 or 8 of them at the time. And this was like 2012 and 2013, every single one, they're like, oh, funds ran out, we have to wait. So guess what, even though I tell you the whole process, I'm not the back end, I'm just like the originator.
Processor.
Yeah. when the
Every
funds
single
run
time,
out.
agents and buyers would stop using me. They'd be like, you screwed us up. And so now, I will be honest with you, we have an in-house down payment assistant, we have Chinoa funds, and we have Home as Possible. So if I can't get you on one of those 3, I'm not even messing with it. Because they don't run out, like that's the whole thing is, interest rates may fluctuate and we can't order funds on Home as Possible till you're approved. But the funds have never dried up. The only time that we ever had an
Maybe that's
issue
what it calls
was
Wish.
when they
I
do the
wish we would
thing.
stay the money there.
Huh?
Maybe that's what it called Wish. I wish the money will stay there.
Exactly, and that's what it is, it's just because that's like a state-sponsored product,
Yeah.
that's something that's like an individual, and stuff like that, so that's where I kind of just get, NACA used to do the same thing, I don't even know if they had that, or Nehemiah, I don't know if they even have those anymore. But same kind of thing, so for me, it's about, we can't control when you're gonna get into a home, right? Like, I mean, ideally, there's limited properties right now, but sometimes, you know, it could take you 3 months to put a buyer in, and if I approve you at this, and then at the end of the day, I don't have those funds, like,
Right.
it doesn't matter how much
Right.
I've done a great job for you, the fact is I didn't close that loan, so that's kind of where, some products like that, like I said, I don't know if people even have, I wonder how many they actually close, cause some people love it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of funds available for them, but if you can get into it.
If you can get into it. So yeah, that's on that one. Did you have a question, sir?
Oh, yeah. You guys do DSCR and bank statements, and what are the rates on that?
Yes, yes we do, and I don't have the actual, I'd have to price it out per, because that is gonna be a scenario, it's not a fixed rate. But I would say we're probably in the 7s or 8s. So, but we do offer, that is another product that with interest rates being so high, that we have to be careful because we're not, so DSCR, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but essentially what it is someone can buy an investment property and qualify off their net rental income that they're getting off of that property. So, if someone is not putting a lot down to where they have a good ROI, like a return on their investment, then it is a little bit difficult because we're not verifying anything else. We're strictly doing assets and what you're netting off that property. And we've ran some numbers before, and it's, in this market, it's a little higher because sales prices are high, right?
So,
So,
rent schedule
um,
comes in, no?
Huh?
Is, all you need is a rent schedule, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you still have to, it's not, you just don't get rent. Like, so if your payment is $2,500, you have to be able to prove that you are gonna get enough rent to, cause so we only calculate at 75%. So you have to have enough positive income to make sure that you're in the positive, not the negative. And so when you figure, you know, people are not really getting a lot of $2,500 mortgage payments right now. That's a $200,000 house, $250,000 house with current interest rates, because we're qualifying on taxes, insurance, and HOAs. So that, you just have to be careful on those, but yeah, we just verify assets, and pretty much you can just buy an investment property and qualify it for rent.
How much down on that, Tim?
Huh?
How much down on that?
Investment properties are still 20% down. 25% seems to be a little bit more of a sweet spot. When it comes to interest rates, it's a little bit, it just seems to be a little bit better. I will say that even if you're doing a full doc loan investment or a second home, and I learned this the hard way recently, second homes are now considered investment properties. Even though it's still classified on your deed of trust as a second home, the rate and the discount points for a second home and investment are now the same. So, and it's about 4.5 points on a cost. Investments do not have the same requirement as investment properties, because even though it's a residential, they are almost considered a business use or a commercial. Like, it's not a commercial loan, so I don't want to do that, but we have to get a letter from the client stating that they are not going to use it for personal purposes. So it does become an income generating property. So they are allowed to pay more points. The only problem is the seller is capped at 2% of the sales price contribution.
Do you do commercial loans?
No. Paul, who does commercial loans? Nevada State?
I found a commercial lender, but I don't know if Nevada State does it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does commercial. So yeah, no, we don't. You have to be licensed completely separate. It's a big deal.
Are you commercial?
Yes.
Oh, me too. What's your name?
Paul.
He's actually an agent, sorry. But I just know he's a commercial agent as well. That's why I asked him, because I don't know if he had financing lined up. Okay, yeah.
A rate buy down, say you wanted to buy that 6.16 down 2 points. How much does that cost?
To buy it down to 4?
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna depend on everything, but it's not an option.
Oh, it's not? So
What's the most you
rate
can
buy
buy
downs
down?
are not an option
No, you can
anymore?
buy down, but you cannot buy down to 4%, because that is probably a 10 to 15% cost. And as a lender, I cannot charge you 10 to 15% to buy that down.
Okay,
So an interest rated buy down is not, it's not like, okay, it's a 0.5% per quarter. That's not how it works. It's literally whatever the cost for that money is at that point in time. So, it's just gonna depend, it's literally gonna depend on your debt ratios, your FICO score, your loan type, your loan to value, all of that. And then we would see. So for example, I am doing a owner occupied this morning, and to get them from 6% to 5.75 is like a 1.83 cost. So, but that only takes them from 6 to 5.75. It's only a quarter difference in
Right,
rate,
right.
but it's almost a 2-point cost to get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that on an average, is that what you're buying the rate down, or?
It
there
just,
is
it
no
literally
average?
depends on what type of loan. I mean, and I don't mean to be that, but there, like back in the day when I started, so I did this 29 years. I used to spend my first 2 hours of my morning from 7 to 9 a.m. literally faxing a rate sheet to every single real estate office, builder's office, and everything else. And it was very black and white, like this is your interest rate. Interest rates don't work that way now. With there being so much things, again, your FICO score, your debt to income ratio, your loan to value, your loan type, everything, so it's an actual cost of money. And you have to think that the Fed rate is what, 4.75 now? I think I haven't looked at it lately, but so you figure the bottom line to borrow money from the federal government is 4.75%. Okay, so now let's say I am a brokerage that's gonna buy that money. And now I'm gonna loan it to Chase. I'm not gonna give Chase money at 4.75% because
Right.
that's what I pay the Federal Reserve for it.
Right.
So now I'm gonna add a 0.5 point onto Chase. So bottom line, Chase is at 5.25, right?
5.25.
No matter what.
Right.
So now they lend it to, you know, us or whatever. So now they're like, okay, well, I bought it for 5 1/4, so I'm gonna lend it to you at 6. So do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so my bottom line is 6% because that's what I paid just to get that money.
Right.
Like, not before I even loan it to you. So I can't even make money until after I'm over 6 1/4. So that's kind of where, right now, there's almost always a cost on discount Voights and buying down rates,
Right.
is because the cost of money is so significant that by the time it trickles down, because we don't borrow money directly from the Federal Reserve, it has to go through Bank A, Bank B, Bank
Right.
C, and then it comes to us.
Now, is this only with you, or is this pretty much?
No, that's
the-
nationwide. That's
nationwide?
any-
That's everybody.
Yeah, it's, I mean, like Bank of America has to pay the Federal Reserve for money, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of, anybody has to pay.
So no one
So
could
what-
just, I'm sorry, go
That's
ahead.
okay.
No one could just go in and say, oh, I wanna buy down the rate 2%.
Right.
You think you can't?
Yeah, you can't.
So what's the maximum that you can borrow then?
Right.
It
Why
just
not?
depends.
It's gonna depend on what the cost is. By law, the CFPB has made it a requirement that on primary residences, the most a lender can charge is 3%.
Any idea how these builders are able to offer out?
They buy blocks of money ahead of time.
Yeah, they want it.
And they are buying down, like, so they went and bought that block of money with their lender, so now they're just offering it, but your client is not buying down that rate. So when they say we're offering 4.75 and then they fluctuate it, they bought that block of money off of that and they're not passing the cost on to the borrower. So, but for a buyer to come into me and buy down a rate, we're capped at 3%. Like for that investment, or that second home property, I ended up having to go to management because I got hard coded, because the cost was like 4.3. And there was no option, like I could do the rate at 7 or I could do it, I think I ended up doing it, at the time it was like 6.875 because interest rates were a lot higher. And I got like stopped, like I got through the whole process, locked it, disclosed it at 4%, but when it came down to drawing the CD, I got a hard stop and they're like, you cannot charge this. It wasn't me charging, it was the company. And the company had to come in and credit some.
With the rates fluctuating up and down, let's say 2 months ago, the lender approves a loan at X rate, but then when they're ready to close, it's less, much less.
So we do offer a one-time float down, like a buy down.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is one thing I will talk about today, because we do have a list in lock, especially for listing agents, which is a good deal. Generally, because rates are so volatile, everybody has usually a one-time float down, which means between now and the time you close, if interest rates improve over 0.5% or more for your specific case, we can usually do a one-time float down, which means we're gonna bring you to that market rate.
Is that automatically offered, or does the buyer?
No, I
or
think the buyers
agent-
have to ask for it, and there's just, like some contingencies. Now with builders, that is something that is offered automatically, or if we're locking a loan for, say, 180 days, they can generally do, they can build that into their loan.
Okay.
Because we know that 6 to 8 months to build a house is a long time, so generally speaking, builders give that.
And once again, is that float buy down just with you, or is that offered at all lenders?
I believe that's an industry standard.
Okay.
Again, I can't speak on behalf of all lenders, I haven't worked for them, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, that is a general thing that we offer.
Okay.
But it has to be a significant swing.
Sure.
So if you lock at 6 today and tomorrow it goes down to 5.8, you're, SOL. Like,
Right.
we're not gonna redo it. That's why they say that it has to be a 0.5 point or better,
Okay.
that they will go ahead and honor that float down.
Is there a
So
cost?
when you talk about, or when they talk about buying down a rate, generally speaking, you're talking in quarter points, not full points?
No, it doesn't really work that way. I know it's really difficult,
Yeah,
but
I know.
like, I'm trying to think of this. Okay, so here's a perfect, so this is a rate sheet, okay, this is a couple days old, and I can pass this around. That this is for our down payment assistance, so, and you guys can take a look, I know it's really small. But do you see how like 6.75 is a 2.35 cost? 7% costs 1.360.
Okay,
Seven-
and that
like you
cost
see
is the
these-
percent of the loan amount.
It is, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that's the thing, is like, it's not, nothing on here is it's literally the actual cost. Like, I don't know how to explain it, like, there's no, like,
I understand that.
Yeah, like, so you can't say it's 1 point for every quarter, that's not how it works.
Okay.
It's whatever, and the thing is what people don't understand on a rate sheet, you guys can pass this around if you guys wanna take a look at it,
Okay, let me take
but, I need it back, but you guys can look at it. But, generally speaking, and I forgot this. On the interest rates, so sometimes, like, when I'm looking at a loan, so, oh, you cannot copy that, you guys are not allowed to have that. That is, yeah, you need to, I'm sorry,
Well, I just can't
or I
read
can't
it.
pass it around, I know.
Read it. That's all.
I mean, I guess they're invalid anyways, this has a 329, so
Yeah,
I guess whatever,
I'm
but,
not gonna-
but generally, so let's say I'm looking at an FHA loan today, and 6% could be like a par rate, but 5.75, because it depends on where they bought that money, 5.75 might actually give me a rebate. Like, it's not even like, just because the rates climb, doesn't always necessarily mean there's more cost. Like, sometimes lower rates cost less than a higher rate. It's just kind of depending on where that money's at. So that's where, when we say there's really no rate sheets, it's because legitimately everything is just based off where it is on that market on that day, like where secondary is at. Like, back in the day, when I first started, we had a whole secondary department, and you would lock a loan and they would, they would have like several investors, so they would know where they were gonna send it. So they may charge like a point, but they may have gotten, a big, huge rebate from the lender that they sold it to. So that's kind of how it was. Well, after 2008, they were like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So it's almost like a live pricing. Like, everything changes with the market. We get, market updates with that. And so it's literally the cost of the loan based off their loan to value, FICO score, debt ratio, all of that. So it's that's how they do it now. It's a little bit different. You had a question.
What did you call it, float down, is there cost of the borrower on that, and if so, what is it?
Generally, no. Like, it used to probably be like if you were locking for like a 6-month lock, we would charge you like a point up front, because on the flip side, if it floats down, you get a benefit, but if it floats up, we don't, we have to pay. So what we would do is we would lock in for like a percentage, but right now, because there's so much volatility in the market, like I said, I do not want to stay 100% positive that every lender is offering it, but I'm pretty sure almost every lender is offering it. And then I do want to note, like, when people were saying, like, if you want a 4% interest rate and the interest rate is 6%, go to your credit union. They are not regulated by the federal government because they do not borrow money from the Federal Reserve to fund your loans. All of theirs is done on internal depository accounts. So like when you go to Wells Fargo, they take your money, which that's how that SVB bank crashed, right?
Mhm.
Because they went and bought bonds at 1 1/4, and then now they're at 4.75. So they ended up, when those notes got due and payable, they kind of got screwed. Well, credit unions don't operate that way, and they're not subject to Fannie and Freddie guidelines. So that's why sometimes, like Navy Federal, for example, like they'll do 100% financing, no MI, you don't have to be a veteran, and they'll have like a rate that's a point lower than the average rate if you have good FICO scores. So if it's something where your buyer is adamant that they need to qualify for that, then they would go to a credit union. If they have a lot of money, good credit, just go to a credit union. I mean, that's what I would do. So.
The CMG, are they a source of funds, or do they sell off their loans?
No,
or-
we pretty much service all of us.
You
So
service?
he started it in '95, Chris George, which is what CMG stands for.
What is
Chris Michael George.
Chris Michael George?
Matthew or Michael. But so we actually service a lot. So even when you close with Epic, you'll close in Epic and then you get sold to CMG because we service a lot of our own loans. The only time we don't service loans is Nevada Housing goes to US Bank, or if we underwrite a specific jumbo to us, because we don't really house jumbos, so we sell those to whatever investor we underwrote them to, in like some particular products like that. But for the most part, VA conventional and FHA, you'll make your payments to CMG forever.
And then let's say someone has a loan for 30 years and at year 15, they want to recast it. Could they recast it?
Yes.
And how much is the minimum amount that they would have to put up to?
I have no idea because I'm not on the servicing side.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have, like, I can't pull up, once you're closed, that my part is done because I'm just an originator. So I can't see if your payment's posted, I don't know what, you would have to go speak to a CFD service.
Can you explain what recasting is?
Yeah, recasting is so, okay, let's say that you have a loan and, okay, let's say you got a loan a couple years ago, and so your interest rate is 3%, right, or 2.5. And you sold another property and you want to put a large down payment down and lower your payments, okay? Because generally speaking, if you don't get permission to recast and you put $200,000 down on a $400,000 loan, your payment's gonna stay the same.
Exactly.
There's no need to change it. However, if you go in, generally speaking, I think it's like $250 to $500
I did.
is what it has been in the past. Again, I don't wanna speak to current terms, but if you call them and say, yeah, I wanna recast my loan, I'm gonna pay the $250, they will take your current interest rate and your remaining term. So if you paid on it for 5 years and you had a 30-year term, you're gonna recast at a 25-year term, current interest rate at the current balance. So your payment will drop to that like new balance. And so it helps people that want to lower their payment, but they don't want to start 30 years over again, and you don't have to wait 15 years. Sometimes I have people who close without having to sell a property, and then they'll sell their house, and then they go ahead and recast on
Yeah,
it.
I did a recast, and the terms remained the same, the interest rate and the remaining balance, I put a big chunk. And basically what it did, it's reduced your principal, so everything was based on that reduced amount.
Yes.
So my payment went down.
The payment goes down a lot, but yeah, taxes, insurance stay the same, and you don't start 30 years over, and you
Exactly.
don't pay any fees. Like when you refinance, you have title fees, maybe you have an appraisal fee, they don't take any of that consideration. Whatever your remaining term is, whatever your interest rate is, everything stays the same.
Same.
They just essentially re-amortize, that's what I guess
Right.
recast would mean. They re-amortize
it.
your payment based off your new balance.
Exactly.
And
It's
then-
good if you come into some money, if you have a
Yeah,
mortgage and you come into some money and you wanna reduce your principal, instead of, like you said, putting that large chunk, you recast it so that your amortization.
and
puts
that's
you
it,
in
because
small.
sometimes you'll get people relocating, so they don't necessarily need to sell their house to qualify for their new loan.
Right.
And so, but they wanna get that mortgage, and they're like, oh, hey, so we just say, okay, we'll just make sure that you can recast. I don't know, I'm gonna say you cannot, I'm not 100%, I'm 99.9% positive, but you cannot recast on an FHA or a VA though. It has to be a conventional
Okay,
financing.
I didn't know.
That is one thing, FHA and VA do not recast.
That's
But they offer, but they offer a streamlined refinance.
That's true. 'Cause
So
VA
they offer no
has-
income, no appraisal.
Right.
Like with VA, it's called an IRRL, IRRRL, interest rate reduction loan. And so they don't require appraisals, anything, so they're just gonna redo that at no cost to the buyer. And FHA does what's called a streamline, so I think that's kind of why they don't, is because they offer that streamline. The only thing is, and that's where our government, I don't care what party you are, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying, sometimes our government does not seem to work for the American people. And so you're doing, like, if you're a veteran and you're doing that, you don't get the benefit of that 3.25% interest rate. When you streamline, they will give you the current market rate. Now, most people obviously would probably not do it if the interest rates are higher, but that's one thing. And it's funny that only the government-backed loans do, because Fannie and Freddie are technically private companies. So, but yeah, I just thought about that right now. So you don't get the interest rate, but they can do everything without the income. So, on a side note, before I answer any more questions, so we do have a new list and lock thing, okay? So let's say that right now, I mean, interest rates are almost 6%, and so your seller wants to be able to offer that product. Like they wanna advertise, like a buy down, say 5.5. So they're like, hey, if you buy my house and qualify with my lender, you're gonna get a 5.5% interest rate. Pretty much what it is the program offers sellers to lock in a rate that's attached to the property. So it's not attached to the buyer. So essentially any buyer coming in is gonna have to qualify for that. And the future buyer has the option to purchase the home with the loan from CMG at the lock rate available, or improve the price by the equivalent of 1% discount points. There is a cost to the seller though, that they put a little bit of money up front. You can be for sale by owners, we don't like those, right? For sale by owners. You can be a builder, or you can just be a regular, listed with an agent. We offer it on FHA, VA, USDA, any occupancy, so they can be owner occ or second home or investment.
Is there a list price max? A list price max on the
No.
program? So $1 million
Oh, well,
home?
yeah, there is gonna be a list price, well, not a list price, loan amount, because we don't offer it on any jumbos,
Yeah,
AIOs or anything like that. But again, that's because they're not serviced by CMG, we service all of our other ones.
what constitutes a jumbo? What constitutes a jumbo?
Oh, 726, anything above 726. So if your seller decides to participate in this, they specify a rate and the amount of their concession that they wanna do. The seller is gonna pay just a flat fee of $9.99 for a lock-in list fee. And, they will sign a disclosure via DocuSign. And then as we're generating that business, so whenever your clients come in, they will review, we'll review it and then try to put them into that rate.
Okay, but did you say what the rate was? And so if it's 6.16 today, what would the list?
It depends on how much your seller wants to contribute. So if your seller's like, hey, yeah, I am offering 3%, and let's say we utilize 1.5% to buy down that rate, it's gonna be whatever the interest rate is at 1.5% discount.
So it's the cost, you still have to consider the cost of that loan, like you said.
Yeah. So, and we would lock in we would lock it in on today's market. So, for example, we haven't been down to 6.16 in a while, but when we did it, a couple weeks ago, we were all excited to get to like 6.5, right? But then they kind of went back up. They were almost hedging to 7 again. So if you had like if you lock in now and next week they're back up to 6.5, that seller is locked in at that reduced rate. So when their buyers come in, we're tying it to the property, not the buyer. So we're gonna have to qualify. Your buyer's gonna have to qualify for a loan.
Right.
But that's a way for you guys to advertise, hey, I've locked in at a low interest rate, whatever that is.
For how long is that good for?
So it says, and it is subject to normal rate lock and float down policies. So again, how we were asking before, float down. So let's say we lock in at like 5.75 today, by the time your buyer locks in and closes, interest rates are at 5. We're not gonna screw them by giving them a 5.75. They will go ahead and take advantage of the lower interest rate, so yeah. And if buyer is not located in the property within 60 days, or if the loan ultimately does not close, the $9.99 is retained by CMG. So we can probably go longer, but after 60 days, your seller's forfeiting the $9.99.
And say it was a VA buyer with a 501 credit score, would it?
We don't do 501 FICO, but yeah, they still have to qualify, but FHA, VA, USDA, or conforming conventional, or it doesn't matter, they're just gonna qualify for their basic loan.
So what's the verbiage that we would put in the listing to be in
I think they have,
with RESPA and.
So on here, it looks like, cause we just got this product, on here, it looks like they actually have signs and stuff that they will generate for you. So I'm sure some type of legal department has decided what we can use. So they'll give you a whole
Proper verbiage.
Yeah, how to advertise that.
So on a different subject, I kind of want to go back to where you mentioned before with the down payment assistance programs, the Home is Possible. It's been a while since I've done one of those. Can you kind of refresh my memory how that works?
So the one thing with Home is Possible that I love about that product is it's very, I'm gonna just check the rate, I'm not checking my text messages, but while we're talking about it. Essentially, Home is Possible is a state-funded product. It is available through the entire state of Nevada. They do it for conventional, FHA, VA, and they have temporarily like a even better first-time home buyer product where they get a lower interest rate. and they can just get a flat 15,000. They also have, now, let me rephrase that. VA does not get money because there's no down payment. They get locked in at a lower interest rate. Teachers get a lower interest rate, but they get a flat $7,500. So if you're a teacher, and then it's forgiven. And then they offer their regular, which you can go up to 135,000 in income. So there's an income cap, a debt ratio, maximum debt ratio, debt to income. This is your housing and your debt is 45%. The interest rate is fixed. It does not matter what lender you use in the state of Nevada. Nevada Housing actually posts their rates. So that's the one thing I love about it, because it's not, they can't go to Joe Schmo next door and they're gonna offer 6% and I'm offering 6.5
Right.
because it is fixed. There is a 0.5 point origination and they charge like a 675 fee. But essentially it's just regular FHA or conventional. You're just gonna qualify as normal. They just have those little overlays. Their big thing though is theirs are all 640 or higher FICO score. So they will not lend under a 640 for the home as possible. I'm checking to see the rates because last week they were at 7.625. Even though rates had gone down, they did not lower their rates. So I'm kind of curious to see, that's why I want to look at the rates. But so if you just type in home is possible, you're going to just pull it up. The easiest thing for you to do is there's these, so when you pull up the home is possible nv.org, right under the Nevada Housing, there's these 3 lines. Don't try to go to the realtor tab or the buyer tab, just go to the lenders tab. And it's the first thing when you hit lenders is today's rates and updates. And it's gonna tell you exactly what the FICO score, exactly what it is, and if you roll over, so they did lower to half. So right now, if you want to do just a regular FHA loan, 640 FICO, you can get 2% of your loan amount for a rate of 6.625, or you can do 4% of your loan amount, which would cover all of your down payment, at 7.125. And it's just published right there. Like you can send your buyers here. This is what I love about it. It's very clear. And if they scroll over, if you have like, not on your phone, but if you have it on your mouse, it'll actually do a little box and it'll tell you what the income limits are, what the guidelines are, what the max DTI is, what the minimum FICO is. So it's great that way. And then if you have a teacher and they want to do, say a conventional, they can lock in at 5.875 and get $7,500 still. So it's really good.
A down payment assistant program?
Mm-hmm, yeah. And now with, they have it's called Home First DPA program. And so they are only doing up to 500 loans. They still have 439 available. That is one that is limited. But see, they put it on there so you know, like how, if it's down to the last 10, you better get your property approved and locked and docked because it may not be available. But they offer a first-time home buyer product. There is an income limit. It is very low, but they offer it at 6.75 and it's a flat 15,000 to be used towards their down payment. Funny thing is that 15,000 cannot be used towards closing costs. And that again is something that when you scroll over this right here, like, I don't know if you guys can see that where it has like a little pop-up. And I was teaching another class and we just happened to click on that because someone had asked it. And I saw that it says right here, it is structured as a one-time upfront forgivable loan amount in 15,000, cannot be used for closing costs. I did not know that because anything else you can use it for, you don't even, if you have your own down payment, you can get DPA to pay for your closing costs. And that 15,000, so that seller has to pay it or that buyer has to come in with it. And it's about 3% on a DPA because they charge a 0.5% origination and they charge a 675 like doc fee, underwriting fee.
So you do those loans, you do?
Yes, so
Okay.
they will be sold. So again, we do not service these because this
But you're
money is backed
originating.
by US Bank. So every single loan will get sold to US Bank. But to my knowledge, unless it's changed recently, US Bank does not originate them.
You do.
All other lenders do, yeah. So we lock dock. The only thing we do, we even underwrite it. The only thing we have to do is you have to have an approval and an appraisal, and then we will then reserve the money. That's the only thing is, especially on those first-time homebuyer products. They used to not do this. Paul and I had one right before COVID. I don't know if you remember when they were offering that like 20,000 or something. They were offering like some big amount. And people would come in and they would just reserve and essentially put fake buyers on there.
Oh, wow.
And so they would scoop up all that, because it was like, okay, we have $4 million, whatever. And you think that's a lot, but it goes kind of fast. And so they would do it, so they started to get a little bit more like, okay, we can't do that. Because what would happen is then after the program expired, none of these buyers would close. That money would be funneled back.
Right.
That's actually how we ended up getting the money that Paul and I were dealing with them. It was right before COVID and the casinos were kind of, he didn't get laid off, but people did that he knew. So he like backed out literally at the last minute. And, but that money was from like 5 years before, because I didn't know this. Once the government earmarks money, you cannot move it. So you can't take those Nevada funds and put it for roads or schools. And so what happened was a couple years later, they're like, hey, we have, you know, say it was 4 million to begin with, they had like 1.3 million left over that was from fraudulent lots. So, so now you do have to be approved and you do have to have an appraisal in. So.
Do you remember at one point in time there was that Nevada rural loan for rural property?
So we still have, so Nevada rural is comparable to Nevada housing.
Okay.
The only reason I don't really talk about that one is because you can only buy in 4 locations.
Right.
Isn't it counties? Isn't it counties, the rural program, you can buy in like Clark County?
No, Nevada housing you can buy anywhere. No, well, I don't know. So maybe they changed it, but back in the day it used to be like you could buy, Whitney Ranch was one of the approved areas.
And I think some
But there were like
Silverado
4
Ranch.
quadrants throughout town.
Yeah.
But their rates and everything are similar to Nevada Home is Possible. So, but with Nevada Home is Possible, there's no geographical location. Is my time up? Oh, God, you guys are ready.
One more question.
One more question.
Well, actually, it's not for you.
No, you're
Do
fine.
we have anybody that sells timeshares?
Oh, yeah, someone asked me that too. And I said, no.
I think I saw that on the Facebook group, somebody posted somebody in there that does. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys. I'm here if you guys have
Very information. Breakfast was supposed to arrive this morning, but it didn't for some reason, so, thanks to Rock Tunnel, I think we have pizza coming. So, stick around for some pizza.
Did you
And remember, no matter how you slice it, greatness is a choice, let's go out there and be great.